Let's talk Women Talk.
As a young girl growing up, Melissa Sarawi didn't always find the right encouragement in school and had to endure hurtful comments that affected her self-esteem and confidence. After going through many setbacks, she has since found her own strength and is now on the path to many great things in life. What gives this amazing warrior the strength to keep going?
I know you did go to a primary school and you were an elite girls' school, and somehow the issue of weight came about in your life. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about how that all started.
I still remember very, very clearly. It was my Chinese teacher. She was actually my form teacher. I didn't want to pay attention lah, so I take my Chinese textbook, right, and I put it on a table and I try to do something else behind it. So she said very loudly in front of the whole class, she said that the textbook is not big enough to cover your big body. Yeah. I felt that she was like calling me out because of my size, and maybe because it's a girls' school and the more popular seniors like to sort of bully the younger girls. The comments that I can remember the most vividly is they call me a fat bitch, and then they started barking like a dog. Yeah, to like, I don't know, to emphasize it, I guess.
What were some of the other like events that happened?
The teachers would call out your name to say that these are the girls who need to, go for a tough club. Somehow they chose to do it in front of 3,000 students. So the whole school will know that you are labelled as fat. It feels like I was being shamed.
I was going to ask you, like, what was the consequence of all that, though?
I think that as when we are growing up, we are still learning about ourselves. So, like I said, we tend to be a bit more emotional, more sensitive because you're still young. So I think it just made me feel even worse and lousy about myself. When you feel lousy and then you feel that you need to fit in, right? So I went online and I searched and I saw that they have like support groups. The girls who are anorexic, they call themselves Anna. And then the girls who are like practicing what a bulimic will do, they call themselves Mia. So I started, I still remember the first time I threw up. Actually, after you do it, you feel like, very shocked that you got all the food out. But when I look at myself in the mirror, right, all I felt actually was, when I see myself, is a sense of disgust and self-hatred. And I just, but it will become like a vicious cycle because the next day you just end up doing it again. And I was addicted to the feeling of being so-called in control of, putting the food in, but I can also control and get it out.
I mean, I can't imagine what your body
was. I
was.
lost weight and then I got out of tough club and the teacher was like, oh, look at her, she's like, she exercised, she got out. I'm like, yeah, right. Yeah, you don't even know what's going on.
So she was actually saying like, oh, look at her, she's so skinny now.
And then because she's been exercising and she's been coming for all the programs, all this. The thing is, they don't even know, that what we're doing in school.
How did you said that, when you were looking in the mirror that you felt this sense of disgust and all that, and maybe just a term to call it self-worth. How was that? Was that continuing in the same direction, or did it get better for you?
No, it did get better. Even when I lost weight, I think I didn't feel like any better. I just felt that I hated myself, and I had this dirty secret that I was keeping. I mean, at that point when you feel like everyone is like so-called complimenting you and saying that you have lost weight, you feel good just for that moment, but deep down you know that it's because you've been doing like other things to yourself. So I felt shameful, I felt very ashamed, and I think it came to the point that I got so tired of this lifestyle, and like every night I eat, I have this fear of getting fat, or if I don't throw up everything, I'm going to put on weight. I just got so tired of everything that I decided one day that I took over 90 pills, I remember. Yeah, but obviously I didn't die. So when my brother found me, he called my mom. So they sent me to the hospital, and then the doctor said that it's been too long already, they can't pump my stomach anymore. So I spent like the next 1 week in the hospital on a drip.
How did you feel at that point in time?
I think most of the time I felt shame. I was very upset with myself and angry that it didn't turn out the way that I wanted to turn, and then now I had to face the consequences.
What changed from that point?
I saw how much I hurt my mom, because she has always been, doing her best to give us whatever she could, and then she cried. And I think the one thing that scares me the most is when I see my mom cry. Because my mom is like, she's quite tough. So to see her cry is like, I knew that I couldn't go back to that lifestyle. I mean, it's a habit, right? You want to do it. And then I just thought, okay, I need to make a change. And so I told my mom, okay, I think I'm ready, I want to join the gym. So I started off with the classes, and then gradually as my confidence started to build up and I start to become more sure of myself and what I'm doing in the gym, and then I started to venture out. Probably only in the last few years that I started to accept who I am and what I want to be. mainly because of the environment I was in. You know, when you grow up and when you're taught that you need to look a certain way, behave a certain way, and to fit in, a lot of teachers don't really realize it, but our words do have a lot of power over the kids because they do look up to you. You are an authority figure over them, and they are someone that they see maybe even more than their parents, and they want your approval. So, you know, how you interact and how you speak to them actually does play a very big part. So they need to be a bit more sensitive with what they say.
So let's go back to the fitness journey, right? You went to the gym. How did that become this?
I'm also quite surprised because I didn't think that it would last that long. When I first started out, it was more of wanting to, you know, to please my mom. And then I think the more I got into it, the more when I started to see results, I started to feel motivated. And at that time, I was dating someone who was very into bodybuilding. When I first told him in the US, if I only have a category for women, which is that kind of body that I wanted to attain, he said that I was being stupid and that why do you want to go to the US to compete with people who are going to be better than you? Of course, I was very hurt by that comment because I was thinking like I've been supporting you all these years, and then when I tell you that what I want to do, and you know, yeah, so I'm like, okay, fine. I think one reason why I also stayed with him for so long is because at that time I was recovering from bulimia. Yeah, so my self-esteem wasn't great. And then when, you know, somebody pays attention to you and is nice to you, so your world suddenly, you know, changes and it's like, okay, I matter now because someone loves me. I decided that I'm going to break off with him. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. So I channeled all my energy and all my attention into planning to go to the US. It was really a very good experience. I mean, I didn't come in first. I came in second.
Like, how did that make you feel?
I was very happy, and like finally I did something, you know, that I've always dreamed of doing. I've dreamt of doing it, but I think that was the first time I felt like I started to live for myself. Yeah, and I didn't have to be in the shadows for anyone. Yeah.
Wow, that's really, really very powerful.
The following year, which was last year, I decided to do it again, and then I came in first for my for my category. It's really a very big step for me. I mean, coming from how I started out, and you know, not ever dreaming that I would ever be able to like step on stage.
When you look back at this journey, what do you feel, or have you what has it taught you?
Friends are supposed to support one another, encourage one another, and uplift one another. You just need the friends who really care for you and who cares about your well-being. And I think one of the biggest lessons that I've learned is that you need to live for yourself. I think at the end of the day, you need to know who you really are, and you need to embrace that, and that when you're going to do something, you need to look deep within and know that you're doing it for yourself. I've come to realize that we're a lot stronger than what we really think we are, and that you'll be surprised, you know, that you can actually carry it through and that you can actually bear the unbearable. And at the end of the day, whatever the result is, right, you'll still be happy.
This has really been an extremely powerful interview. Just before I thank you, I want to ask you, what is empowerment to you?
Empowerment to me is being very sure of your identity and knowing who you are regardless of what people say, regardless of your situation. It's still being able to, you know, get back up and you know, brush off the dirt and just move forward.
Well, thank you so much, Melissa. I mean, such a powerful interview, and you really, truly are a role model for so many young girls out there. So thank you very much.
Melissa Sarawi's journey is a true symbol of her strength both inside and out. Her story is proof that everyone has the ability to shape their own path, and that no matter how long it takes or how hard it is, we can always choose who we want to be.